Hey everyone, this is Viren and welcome back to another video in our n8n playlist. Now, so far in the playlist, we've made 3 videos. The first one is how to set up your n8n account and a basic automation directly with n8n. Second one, we looked at how to set up n8n locally or even host it on your own private server with Hostinger. In the third one, we built our first AI agent where we took a Google Sheet, summarized it via an AI agent and sent it over email, right? And now in this video, we're going to create a WhatsApp AI agent. So let's get right into it. So this is what one of the viewers asked for. Could you help me create a WhatsApp AI agent for my business that can collect basic lead information and store it in a Google Sheet? Once the lead is collected, it can end the conversation by saying that a human agent will reach out. What will be even better is that if we have partial information, we can store that as well in the sheet. So thanks for the question. And for those of you who want to send in questions like this, the link to the form is still in the description. This is what the form looks like, and you can just simply fill it and I'll try to cover it in this n8n playlist. And for this video, let's create this AI agent. However, the person who asked the question did not really specify what lead information means for his business. So I'm just going to make some assumptions there and we'll start, right? So let's get into n8n. For this tutorial as well, I'm using my Hostinger setup, private server setup for n8n. You could use your local setup or your n8n hosted setup, whatever you wanted. Let's create a workflow. Now, setting up WhatsApp is slightly tricky, so I'm going to walk you through step by step. So the first step here is going to be to receive a WhatsApp message, right? So WhatsApp Business Cloud on messages. And before we get into how to set up WhatsApp, just let's add the other node as well. And for now, I'm not doing anything else but just WhatsApp, right? Being able to receive messages, being able to send messages. That's all we'll do, right? Now, for both of these setups, if I had to add credentials, you need something called the client ID and the client secret. So now let's get into the world of Meta and set these up. So we'll start by going to business.facebook.com. So we are here into business.facebook.com. You can log in through your Facebook account. And the first thing you want to do is create a business portfolio. This is basically a few steps of adding your portfolio name, first name, email address, things like that. This is the most basic thing. You need to have a Facebook page set up. You need to have a Facebook business portfolio set up, right? I'm not going to do all of this because this deviates from what this video is about. So I'll simply go into the setup that I already have. So I have a Facebook business setup and there are a lot of pages and Instagram accounts connected to it. I'll just go into business settings. So when you come into business settings, you'll see a bunch of information about your business, the people who have access to the pages and all the assets of your account, right? So you could have Instagram accounts, WhatsApp accounts, Threads accounts. So all of that you manage from your business portfolio with Facebook. This is a test one that I had created years ago. Now here, what we're looking to do is basically first create an app. So we go here, create an app. So I'd like to create a new app ID. And apps are basically ways for developers to be able to use all the products that Meta has programmatically. So let's say if you wanted to create login with Facebook, if you wanted to create login with WhatsApp, if you wanted to create WhatsApp messaging without using the interface like with n8n, right? So those are the things that we are able to do when we create apps with Meta. So let's do this. Let's create an app name. I'll call it something like VB Media, maybe. Have my email address here. Next, you have to tell them what are the use cases that you want to manage. So create ads, things like that, right? I want to connect with customers through WhatsApp. That's my only use case. Select it. Now I have multiple business portfolios in my account. So which business account do you want this connected to? So the one I want is already selected. I'll just quickly click on next. Any publishing requirements, you typically not see anything here. Let's just go to next. And this is basically a summary page. Here, just click on create app. So here at the moment, all you're looking to do is go into app settings and go to basic setting. Now you will see your app ID and your app secret here. So all you need to do is copy this, come into n8n, and your client ID is basically the app ID. Come back here, copy the secret, come back to n8n, paste it here, save it. So this is successfully done, right? So now potentially any message coming into this business account, you should be able to get it inside n8n, right? So let's go back into the app manager. Let's go into use cases, customize our WhatsApp use case, go into API setup. Here, what you'll see is that you have a test number that WhatsApp has provided you with. And this is the number that you can now use. Of course, you can connect your own business numbers, and we'll do that in a little bit. But let's start with the test number, right? We just add a recipient phone number as well. So I have my own phone number added here. You can add up to 5 test numbers. So your test number here will only be able to message numbers that you've added to the list here, because this is only for testing purposes. To do real messaging, you'll have to actually replace this with your business number, and I'll show you that as well. But for now, let's just add this. The next thing you can do here is just generate an access token. Click on continue, opt in for all current and future WhatsApp accounts. Or if you want it working on a single number, you can do that as well, and save. So you have your access token here, and below there is also something called send message. So you could just click it to test if the sending message works. And yes, I did receive a message. This is just a template message from the WhatsApp number. As a next step, you can also copy this access token. Again, know that this is just a temporary token, right? This will not work permanently. For this to work permanently, you'll have to publish the app. You have to get a permanent token, and I'll show you all of that as well. Let's go back into n8n. Open the send message module, click on setup credential, and here you need the access token, and you also need the Facebook account business ID. So let's copy both of that and we'll paste it here. Save. So this is done. So actually let's select the test number here. I'll add my number in the test body. Let's just say hello to you as well, and close it. So essentially what this workflow now does is if you receive a message on this WhatsApp number, it'll just send hello to you as well, right? Let's execute this and then go into WhatsApp and say hello. And the reply comes back, hello to you as well. So thankfully our flow works. Let's look at the execution log. And yes, we received the first message, which was hello. And we were able to send a message, which was hello to you as well, that we received. Okay, perfect. So now the next thing we want to do is we want to bring this connection. And here we actually want to add an AI agent, right? So let's add an AI agent. And here we want the user prompt to actually be the message from the user. So let's pull the body bit. This is what we want going into the LLM. For now, I'm not adding a system prompt. Now let's just close this. Add a chat model. We use OpenAI. I already have my OpenAI account connected. If you want to know how to create the API key that is needed, we covered it in the AI agent basic video here in this playlist. The link is in the description, so you can check that out. Coming back here, the model we're using is GPT-5 mini, right? Now let's open up the AI agent, execute this one time to check this works fine. So the output, how can I help you today? And the last thing I want to do is connect this to send message. And here the text of the message, instead of this being hard coded, I want the output from the AI agent and I want to send it here, right? This is what we need. Now let's execute this workflow. Go back into WhatsApp and say, hey. So we get a response, hey, how can I help you today? Here are some things, blah, 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 right? That's not relevant. What is more important is that this worked. Now I want to show you something interesting, right? Let's say we published this and this was live. And if I went into WhatsApp and I said, hi, I'm Viren. So hopefully our executions are working. Yes, it's in progress. And hi, very nice to meet you. Now let's say I say, what is my name? And the response I received is that I don't know, I don't have access to personal data. I just shared that my name is Viren, right? So what happens is that when this runs in n8n, the AI agent is just running one message at a time. It has no access to what was the previous conversation, right? Which is where the memory tool comes in. So we'll add something called a simple memory for now, right? This memory helps us define a context window length. So how many messages essentially we want the AI agent to actually store in memory. So let's say the session ID we define below. So we have to give some key so that if somebody else was messaging versus if I was messaging, how does it know which key to add those messages to? So maybe it could be something like the WhatsApp number. We'll keep the phone number as the key against which, let's say, it can store up to 10 messages, right? Now let's close. Let's republish this. We have some sort of warning here. Let's go into, I think this is to do with memory. So here, basically what you need to know is that this node is storing memory locally in your n8n host instance. So if you, for me, like I'm hosting it in Hostinger, so it's using the database there. And this is not shared across multiple systems. Only this workflow has access to it. So for production use cases, you might want to use more professional databases. That's all it's calling out. But for our purposes and this AI agent that we are building, this will work fine. So now let's go back here and say, hey, Viren. What is my name? Perfect. So this works. Now my agent has a memory. And the last thing I want to do now is actually set up the AI agent that we started with to collect information on WhatsApp, store it over a Google Sheet, have conversations and capture the lead, right? So let's do that now. Now I've created this very basic simple sheet because I don't really know from the question what things are captured for the lead. But let's say that this is the 5 information. The first one is obviously just a timestamp, but we want to collect phone number, first name, last name, and an email ID. And then we want to say that, hey, a human agent will reach out to you, right? So this is the sheet we want to work with. So let's go back into n8n. Now we need our AI agent to have access to tools, right? So click on tools. Let's look for Google Sheets as a tool. And we have this here, right? So I have a Google Sheet account already connected. Once again, if you're looking to know how to connect your Google Sheet account, if you went to create credentials, if you're using the n8n hosted instance, you will just see an active sign in with Google and you can do that. Simple. But if you have your self-hosted or hosting your setup, then just watch out this video, right? Where I show you how to set up and get access to Google Apps directly. Coming back here, I will use the account that I already have. What I want to do is get rows. I want to be able to fetch rows from the Google Sheet. If somebody messages, I want to be able to check that do we already have their lead information stored. The document I will use is, let me quickly capture the URL and I'll paste it here. The sheet, it has only one tab right now, which is sheet 1, right? Now, while fetching data, do we want to put any filters? Yes, we want to put filters. So we'll maybe use the phone field as the filter, as the unique identifier to see if the phone number exists. And from WhatsApp, we can pick the person's phone number, right? So we have this setup here. The next thing we also want to be able to do is give access to the AI agent to also add rows, right? So we'll again go to Google Sheet, and here, keeping everything same, what we want it to be able to do is append and update rows, right? The URL to the sheet is still the same. Let me copy it. We'll paste it here. The tab we are going to use is sheet, right? Now, for these fields, we can basically let the AI agent decide, right? So let the AI agent add automatically what it wants to fill here. I could just maybe give a description. It could be timestamp. For phone number, I don't need the AI agent to make decision. I can directly pull it from the WhatsApp trigger. And for first name, last name, email, all of that, I'll just let the AI agent figure from the chat. It can pick up and fill details here, right? In fact, what you can also do is for fetching the rows as well here, for the value, you can just let the AI agent pick out the value as well. So we're done here. Now the next last thing is prompting. So go here and let's start with the prompting. So I came pre-prepared and I do have a prompt ready as well. So this is what I have ready. You are a lead capture agent for VB Media. Whenever somebody messages, use their number to check in Google Sheets if they already have their lead captured. The number of the user is this, right? If not, and this variable I've pulled directly from here. If not, create a new row immediately. And we can then start capturing their data. We need phone, first name, last name, email. Ask for one input at a time and keep the sheet updated. If we already have partial information and they message again, use the partial info to personalize their conversation and ask for the missing info. Like, we don't have to introduce the business in every message. Make each incremental message feel conversational. If all info is present, just let them know someone from the team will reach out. Be concise in your replies as these are for WhatsApp. Great, right? So this is the system message. Now here, another thing that you can do is you can give prompts for each of these tools as well to explain to the AI agent how to use it, just so that there is no ambiguity, right? So let's say for the appending and adding new rows, right? So the tool description currently sets automatic. You can set it manually. So I'll replace this with the one here. Use this connector for, so two things. If a row with this phone number doesn't exist, create one immediately. If the row exists, update first name, last name, and email fields. As and when we get that information from the user, we can store just a dash for fields that we don't have data for. Simple, right? And the last piece of the prompt is this one. We'll set the description manually. With phone being the main identifier, use this connector to fetch information if any already existing in the sheet. Let's put it this way, right? Close this. So I believe we have the AI agent set up now, right? And we'll click on publish. And let's see what happens. And if we run into any issues, we'll fix it as well. So let's go into executions and we'll see the live execution come in here, right? So let's go here and say, hello. We can see this running, so we should be getting a message now. So problem in node, append update row, a column to match on parameter is required. Okay, not sure what went wrong, but let's see. Okay, somehow this got deselected, but essentially this was supposed to be 4. So should be fine. Let's publish again. Let's go and start this again. Execution is happening. Hopefully we'll get the message soon. Nice to meet you, Viren. What's your last name, right? So because we already had memory set up and the past chats which we did while in this video had my name in it. So the bot just basically used that, right? And now it's asking for my last name. Let's go into executions and see everything that happened. There are some errors here. We'll get to that, but let's see if the main flow is working fine, right? So open up the logs. By the way, here you can also see the number of tokens used. So it's just about 1,000 tokens, right? And we pay roughly a couple of dollars for 1,000,000 tokens. So you can see how cheap this is. So the WhatsApp trigger happened. AI agent updated the memory. Then the chat worked. The system prompt worked. The system prompt basically first went to get rows in a sheet so that it was trying to see if my number exists and there was no output. Then it basically went to memory and was loading all the memory variables. Then OpenAI again made some decision here. I think the decision was to append the number and details. So it goes into the append piece and it updates all the information it has, which is last update, phone, and first name. And for others, is just uses dash, updates the reply to the simple memory, and then sends the message, right? Finally, this is the output message that it sends. Now, if I go back into the sheet, I can see that this is already there, like the partial information. So now let's give it more information. My last name is Beth. Thanks. What's your email? Wherein could you share your email address? I think these kind of issues we can improve by improving our prompt, because this prompt was something I put together very quickly. But of course, you can give it an identity, and we can do a whole other video on just prompting if you want to. If you want me to create that, just let me know in the comment below and we kind of work out the prompt in this. But now if I come back here, my last name is updated. Last step, let me add my email. Thanks, all said, someone from our team will reach out, right? So this works perfectly fine. The data gets updated on the sheet in real time. So all our triggers are working fine. Now there are some errors here after every success, right? So after every successful message, there are a few errors. Now what happens here, and I know this because I have done this in the past. Basically what happens is that WhatsApp sends a few messages just programmatically telling you, so these are not really like human send messages, but these are just giving you information like pricing for the message that just happened, right? So those kind of information, which is why our system only works when there is a message actually sent from a number, and it fails when these are sent just through WhatsApp in the backend, giving the developer, in this case us, updates about what was the cost of the previous message. In those cases, what happens is that as soon as the execution goes into memory and we're trying to fetch history of that number, we don't find a number, right? And that is why this part fails. So I wouldn't really call it a failure because the messaging still works. One way to solve for this could be that you can add a node here and you can create a flow, let's say a if. And what if will do is that only when the message has a body, so let's say body is a string that exists, only then it should move forward, right? So only if this exists, if it's true, then the AI agent should work. If it's false, nothing happens, right? We'll just leave it at this. So this should help solve that problem. Now, if we execute again, let's try this again, right? So I say hello. So I got a message that, hi Viren, someone from our team will reach out soon. Of course, like we can handle this better in our prompt and create better messages, even remove these M dashes, things like that. But more importantly, no failures, right? So in the first case, the if condition was true, so the AI agent worked. In the next message, it was not true, so the AI, it never even went to the AI agent, and same for the third message, right? And these are all just backend messages that WhatsApp sends. So like feel free to, open up logs, check out the information that WhatsApp is sending on these. It's just status messages, right? That the first one is around billing and the status is sent. The second one is around status being delivered. So these are the only information. You can actually use this to kind of in your n8n flows later in the future to ensure that you can also tag whether messages were delivered to the end user. So that's it. We have our agent set up, but there is one key thing that is still left, is that this is not production ready. It is still working only with test numbers, right? So I'll quickly show you how those things you can work on, right? So let's go back here. The first thing to do is remove the test number and actually add a phone number, right? So when adding a phone number, you have to add the business display name. So let's say it's VB Media. You add a category. I'll choose professional services. You can add a description to the business or just go to next. Now here you add the phone number. I'm not going to continue beyond this step, but what you just need to ensure that this number is not already connected to a WhatsApp account, and that's the only condition, so that then you can enable it for API usage, right? So this is the first thing that you need to do. The next thing you need to do is here go into publish. So the only thing you need to do to be able to publish is go into app settings, provide a privacy policy URL. So WhatsApp just needs you to have a privacy policy URL on your website. If you don't have a website, then just use like a Google Doc or something, make it a public link and add the privacy policy URL here. Once you add that, you will be able to publish your app. There is going to be a review process and then it can take a few days for the approval to come through, which is why I'm not going to be able to show you this in the video. The last step is I'm going back into API setup. And you remember how I told you that this access token is actually temporary and this is not permanent. So what you will see is that, yes, you have your flow working right now, but just few hours later, within a day, when you're running this again, this will stop working and it will fail because your WhatsApp authentication will fail in this send message node. So how do we create permanent access tokens, right? And for this, we have to now go back into our business settings. So back into business.facebook.com, you need to go into something called system users, right? And you have to create a system user here. System users are users who will have access through the app, right? So create, add the name, add admin, and then submit. That's the only thing you need to do. I have one created here, right? Now, once this is created, you have to assign assets. So this user, this system needs to have access to the app. So go into apps. This is the app we just selected. Manage the app, assign assets. So this is done. If I refresh now, I can see that this system user has full control over VB Media, right? And now all I need to do is generate a token. So select the app, set expiration. So 60 days it will expire. You don't want that. You don't want it to ever expire. Otherwise, you'll have to manually do this every 60 days. So never. Assign permissions. So just give all the permissions. Oh, okay. So you can actually remove manage app and WhatsApp business manage events. So these two, because our app doesn't need these two things. Generate the token. There's a verification step. So you'll have to add your account password. Okay, so the verification will actually send a text message. So the verification process is done. I have a token generated. Now this is the token I want to copy. Go back into n8n, open this, edit my credentials, and this is the access token I want to use here. Let's try this one last time so that we know that everything is working fine. Succeeded. Somebody from the team will reach out. So this works perfectly fine. That's about it for this video. And if you have something in mind, just fill up this form and I'll try to create this in the next video. I'll see you in the next one.